What is going on, guys? Pump787 here, and today I'm bringing you the round 7 I believe. Round 7 of the ASR Championship, the F1 Championship. This is around Austria now, and as you can see, qualifying is in very changeable conditions, very tricky qualifying here. It started off in intermediate wet conditions, and towards the end of the session it's progressively got drier. My first couple of laps on the inters were actually really quite good and probably caught up the order, but now the track is drying. That means there's going to be a lot of quick drivers sending a lot of quick times, and this is my one and only lap on the dry ultra soft tyres. And as you can see, I'm slightly up so far on my Delta, but the track is still really quite slippery in this section. It's still the crossover period, which means it's still the dry tyres still aren't the preferred tyres. Well, they might be preferred, but they're not quite that much. Well, not that much quicker than the intermediate tyres at this stage. As you can see, Sauber there gets out of the way. We get a lot of see, it's no grip going through that left-hander there at all, and we actually lose time. We go now red in the Delta, but we actually pick up a bit of time through the section as we hit the apex quite nicely from the corner. We're up by a couple of tenths, so we're going to improve our time at the end. But unfortunately, the checker flag is about to drop. We won't get any more laps in, so we've timed this pretty poorly for our qualifying run here in the dry tyres. A lot of people starting their laps already, so they're going to have the ultimate ideal conditions. And we've crossed the line P4 on the grid. But that's not going to stay P4, as there's a lot of guys behind going to set quicker times on the dry tyres, and in fact they did really. So we're actually P7 on the grid. Theo Marduk unfortunately timed us even more poorly and didn't set a dry time at all. So it's P7, not too bad in the midfield. Austria tends to be a track I quite enjoy, maybe not my quickest track as such, but for dry conditions at least, I knew my strategy. I did a bit of preparation before this race, and I felt pretty comfortable. But unfortunately, we've got a mixed condition race on our hand. It's going to be intermediates, dry, intermediates, dry. That's interesting, and I have not done a single pit of wet weather practice for this race, which is my bad, to be honest. I probably should have expected some weather to intervene at some point, but that's just the way it is. That's just the look of F1 on this game. And we're going to the grid now at the end of formation lap behind Skunk VTEC. We've got Team Marduk obviously behind us on the grid, so we want to have a nice clean start. All you want to do is get a good result from this race, not bottle it, and well, we'll see how we do really, see if we can challenge the quicker guys up front. But anyway, we've got the 5 lights coming on the screen. We're putting it about half throttle in first gear. Lights are out and away we go. Immediately shift to the second. The Toro Rosso there gets a very wobbly start, and we look into the outside into turn 1. Here we go round the outside. There's a lot of action on the inside. Toro Rosso there hits the manor of Danmark off. We go around the outside off track. We get a legal overtake on the McLaren of KMP4, who actually spun out on the inside. So we've got an illegal overtake on someone who was spun out. This is exactly what's wrong with this game. Anyway, going into the hairpin now, turn 2. We brake very early. Sauber there clubbers on my inside, forces me a bit wide. It's a lot of momentum loss. We've got a car on my inside once again. I think it's a Mercedes of Harry Ryan, or it used to be Assassin's 3. We've got Tim Marduk now behind us. He must have had a pretty poor start. And now we're going 3 wide into turn 3. We turn a little bit too early, pinch the guys on the apex, and there's a little bit of contact to my right-hand side there. We're skating around the kink of turn 4. We're taking it nice and easy. We're going to turn 5. Tim Marduk's going very slowly. We hit the back of him, and we spin out. That's unfortunate. Mercedes there behind us spins out as well. And that's just incredibly frustrating. We were trying to slow the car down as much as possible to try and avoid the collision of the rear end of that banana car, but unfortunately we couldn't quite do it. And as you're going to see on the replay, I didn't really have much choice in the matter. I thought I lost control myself and hit the back of the banana car, but as you're about to see, it wasn't really my fault at all. But anyway, we're now on board with Harry Ryan, his version of the start. Timo Marduk there got an awful start. I don't know if he got a lag start or he just got way too much worse spin, I'm not sure. But his teammate there dived on the inside, there's a Haas off, I'm not quite sure what happened. But he's going side by side with the banana car up into turn 4. No, he stops behind actually. It's a yellow flag zone. I think, you know, it was KMP4, there's a few other guys spun off. But the Mercedes there, Alex brakes himself, going up the inside of Tim Marduk, pushes the Sauber into me, and there's a lot of momentum. We go wheel banging on the exit. He gets front wing damage. That's what I was trying to avoid by being so cautious into our breaker zone in the first place. And I lost a few positions. Now we're going to turn 3, and as you can see, I pinch on the inside of the 2 cars. I left room for 1 car, and really there's 2 cars there, so that was my bad. If they'd spun off, then I would have taken a responsibility for that for sure. But as you can see, the Mercedes there got lost a real spin through that kink. It was slowed down. He actually tries to go on my inside, fails with the move. I mean, to be honest, he sort of lost control or went for a move that wasn't really there. Sorry, Harry Ryan, but I suppose he did cause that collision a bit. I actually thought, driving in the meantime, I actually didn't feel any contact on my left rear side pod. I just, for some reason, couldn't slow the car down, but that explains why now, looking back at the replay. But anyway, going back into the action, KMP4, who we were sort of keeping pace with, has spun out, hit the barrier on the left-hand side through their second sector. It's very unfortunate. We're going to have a replay from his screen to see what happened. He is fighting the 3 cars ahead, the Sauber, the Torosso, and the Mana, as that's just some awful lag right there. He thought he was battling them, doing a nice move up the inside of the Sauber, and they've just fucking ghosted, you know, about half a kilometre up the road, it seems like. But now we've got the battling. The Torosso there goes off the gravel, comes back on track really dangerously, and KM4 has nowhere to go but facing the barrier. He retired from that and actually rage quit like a motherfucker. So really unfortunate of him. Obviously that incident was caused by lag, and now I've caught up to the 3-car train. Luckily there wasn't any lag on my screen as I did a little bit of corner go through the final corner. Luckily I didn't get a warning for that. So now going to the first corner. So the cars ahead really battling, so really costing each other a lot of time. Dad back there was forced wide at turn 1. He's lost a lot of momentum going up the hill, and we're going to take an easy position from him there. As we're going to spot our braking zone quite nicely for the hairpin. Skunk VTEC there completely loses control. I think he locked the rears. As you can see, the track is starting to dry up. The lack of grip is fairly adamant. As even the Sauber over the head is getting fairly wheel spinning down a straight. That's how tricky the conditions are for the intermediate tyres. So our next target now up the road is a Sauber of DC Shadows. We've got DRS is enabled, which means the dry conditions are now prevailing on this track. The engineers come on the radio suggesting a dry weather strategy of a super soft tyre, I think he suggested, but we chose the soft tyres instead. We want to run longer into the race, because I'm not quite sure when the rain period will come next. So I want to run longer, stretch these tyres out as quick as possible, and I think the soft tyres are actually good tyres around here. Good grippy tyres, and they last longer. So we're going to pit lane now. I'll break ourselves massively going to the pit lane entrance. We've got the Manor up my inside, side by side into the pit lane. We just about fail. Our car has automatically slowed down. We're trying to accelerate, but we can't do anything. We're holding up Skunk VTEC. A lot going to the pit lane entrance. So that was a bit of a glitch there, going side by side into the pit lane. And now we're waiting 5 seconds for that stupid penalty we got on lap 1. Are you kidding me, game? What could I have done differently about that? But, oh, it's just one of those things. Now we've lost so much time on the guys ahead. Denmark, the Sauber, the Haas of Ducano. All of those guys have now gained their positions on me once again. Although, to be fair, that racing with Denmark into the pit lane was absolutely spectacular. How we didn't cause a collision and both hit the barrier something, I actually don't know. But that was really incredible. Just annoying. I lost so much time through that glitch and then the 5-second penalty there. But anyway, we're right on the back of Denmark, who goes so much more speed than him in these conditions. We actually cut the back of him as he was sort of holding the middle of the road, and I felt like it was probably better to wait for the DRS straight as it get a nice run through those 2 corners. Don't touch the curb on the outside as I can't spit us into the wall if we're not careful. We've got DRS slipstream. We're going to look to the inside. He defends a little bit across the track, but we get up the inside. We outbrake ourselves a little bit there, but we keep it on the track. He gets the over and under switchback on us, so that's a bit annoying. He's got the position, but we are within striking range for the hairpin. We're in slipstream, no DRS, of course, up the straight. But we're in the zone. We go for the dive up the inside. A little bit of contact there, a little bit of wheel banging, but we left each other enough room just about at the hairpin. But now I've got the inside line, much more momentum this time. We have DRS. We're going to get an easy position, really, as they spot our braking zone quite well. A little bit of our brake ourselves, so didn't really clip the apex, but that's just forcing Denmark out wide. And we got the position ahead of him. P7, that was a really good battle with Denmark there. So now we're going on to fighting P6 now with the Sauber. It was actually really fun fighting through these guys, knowing I was quicker than them. It was actually a really good feeling. Knowing I was quicker than these guys, catching them, passing them, having some really good battles. But anyway, now right on the back of the Sauber, we go nice exit, nice launch off the hairpin. We've got DRS. We are just about within striking range. If we can gain a little bit under DRS and slipstream, we are gaining on the Sauber. Can we think of a move at the inside? We certainly do. Quite late on the brakes. The Sauber was very early there. And we go nice exit, and that's a nice move. I wasn't expecting the Sauber to brake that early. I'm not sure if I was really going to go for the move if he broke as late, but that's a nice move nonetheless. Now we've got the other guy in front of us, Decano, in P5. The rain is starting to come down on the track at lap 17 now, so we should think about a stop to the intermediate tyres some point soon. As we get the nice line through there, that's sort of like a TRL limitless line through there, and that gives us much momentum on Decano as he easily got the inside. Now we've got Tim Marduk ahead in P4, but unfortunately, if you look at the minimap, he is a long way up the road. The game said him has my teammate for this race for some weird reason, and he's already going through turn 2, and we're only just going over the start-finish line. He's 30 seconds ahead of us. That's how much time we've lost so far at the start of this race. We're only half distance and he's 30 seconds ahead. Of course, if we have a safety car, that time would be null and void and we could catch up to him. But even so, if there wasn't a safety car, then we have no chance of getting anything higher than P5 today. But we're going to the braking zone at turn 2, and we completely lock the rears as the track's just very slippery. We should have anticipated that. We should have broken much earlier. But that's just my bad. I did the same thing in Monaco, really, and locked the rears and crashed out. As you can see, the track is too wet now. DRS has been disabled. Jeff has come over the radio suggesting a wet weather alternative, the intermediate tyres, of course. We've still got Decano ahead, who's looking quite vulnerable in these conditions. He touched the grass there and had to back off massively through the corner, and we get a much better run than him as he goes onto the curb. We're looking at the inside of this corner there in the second sector. We've run a little bit wide there, but Decano there can't get the position ahead of us. There's a very opportunistic and very cheeky move from us there. We saw an opportunity and we took it. And now we're going to the pit lane. We don't want to outbrake ourselves like we did before. We do slightly, but not quite as much as the previous time with Danmark there. And we keep position ahead of the Haas car as we brake nicely for the pit lane entrance. That's quite nice, all uniform. And now we're putting a set of intermediate tyres to run to, well, whenever it transitions to dry again. As we get ahead, we get out of the pit lane for 2.5 seconds. Will anyone jump us, actually? Because we stayed out quite a while on the intermediate tyres, and we made that big mistake, which cost us at least 5 seconds. Looks like DC Shadows could jump us here. In fact, he has. He's already going for turn 1. The Renault car is the lap down teammate of Team Marduk. So we're right on the back of the Sauber. Once again, we're catching him through the stint. As he gets a lot of wheel spin from the exit of the hairpin. He gets too much wheel spin. He's tanked slapped it into the wall, lost his front wing, and that's very unfortunate for the Sauber driver. He was looking good there to fight P5 with me, and that's just very unfortunate for him. That's just the way it is. You've got to keep it nice and clean, consistent, no mistakes, and eventually you'll get somewhere. But eventually now we're at that 31. Pinning for the ultra soft tyres, as really nothing happened after the Sauber there crashed. We were sitting P5 very, very comfortably. Team Marduk was a long way up the road, fighting Xvitcho for 3rd place. And Decano was, well, dropping back from us quite quickly as well. So we were really battling no one. For the whole of the second half of that race, we just had no one in front of us, no one behind us. We were sitting very comfortably, and all the way to lap 36, it was just that. It was just routine. Says the Amy now is in 4th place. We did catch a little bit during that final stint, but obviously 30 seconds is nowhere near small enough to reduce that gap. And we're coming through the final 2 corners now. Not the best run for those 2 corners, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to get an easy P5. Pretty solid result. I'm happy with that. That's 10 points towards the championship. And will propel us further up the table, especially when I'm battling K in P4 in the championship, who's my rival for this ASR Season 2. And yeah, P5, solid race. I don't think we had the pace to challenge the top 4 today, even with the mistakes we had. I mean, we were 30 seconds down by halfway through the race, and we only I think I only went to 36 seconds by the checkered flag. But that's just the way it is. Silverstone, which is next, is definitely one of my better tracks, and if I can challenge anywhere, it's gonna be there. So hopefully I can. And yep, I hope you guys enjoyed that race. I did, especially the first part. That battling was pretty insane, pretty challenging. The overtakes was pretty fun as well. Good battling with Dan Mack, DT Shadows, and all the rest of the guys, Pano as well. Yeah, and that's good. That's a good solid result, and I'll see you guys for the next time Silverstone. So see you then. Palms out.